the YMCA, Huntsville, and Madison. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Plenty of sunshine this afternoon, though temperatures are going to be a little cool when you consider the fact that it is early August in North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 80s. We should be consistently climbing into the lower 90s. Quite a change of pace from what we were talking about last week. Temperatures falling into the mid and upper 60s as we head into the overnight. Partly sunny skies for your Wednesday. Temperatures once again climbing into the mid and upper 80s, dropping into the mid 60s through the overnight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
USA women's basketball in the quarterfinals against Australia. The U.S. a 15-point favorite, minus 1,300 on the money line. Australia plus 845, over under 160. Saturday, August 21st in Las Vegas, the WBC and IBF welterweight title bout between Manny Pacquiao and the defending champ Errol Spence Jr. Spence the odds-on favorite at minus 210. The 42-year-old Pacquiao, the plus 180 underdog. NFL preseason underway in less than 2 weeks, and the start of the season a little over a month away. The Chiefs and Bucks favored to face each other in the Super Bowl again. Chiefs at plus 500, the Bucks at plus 650. MVP odds, Patrick Mahomes leads the way at plus 450. Aaron Rodgers at plus 1,000.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Good morning and welcome into our Tuesday edition of Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone with Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. We are off and running with a brand new live edition show. We have got a ton of stuff in store for you on a Tuesday. We've got college football news, tough news for LSU at the quarterback position. Bob Bowlesby speaking yesterday in all of places, Austin, Texas, and speaks on the college football playoff expansions, his thoughts. The social media world went crazy yesterday when some idiot put out that Clemson was leaving for the SEC, so much so that Clemson had to defend it. Alabama and Auburn will hit the practice field later this week. So we're going to ask the question for the Tide and Tigers later. But for the rest of the SEC, for the next couple days, for the rest of the SEC, what are some of the biggest questions you have for your SEC team as they start to hit the practice field? We'll have your Olympic update. Men's basketball hit the court. Simone Biles on the beam. We've got all that stuff to get to. We'll have your tomorrow's headlines today in the second hour. We have got all kinds of stuff to get to in the 2 hours, but it starts with you, 256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, Drew. And if you were not paying attention to social media yesterday, I mean, boy, oh boy, it went rampant when some idiot put out there that Clemson was looking at going to the SEC.
Well, then what would they do? It would just be the clowns.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's not happening.
Clemson is not going to enter the Shark Tank of the SEC and blow their clear path to the playoff every year where they play 75% tomato cans and can rest all their guys and cruise on into the playoff, okay? They're just not going to do it.
The athletic department put out a statement yesterday, and it was just literally a sentence. Yeah. And it says, there is no truth to the report that Clemson University has been in contact with the Southeastern Conference regarding membership.
I saw one where it said, once again, Clemson and Florida State.
Yes.
Florida State just needs to worry about beating Southern University. Not even LSU, okay? Southern University.
Well, you went with the SWAC because because the other day over the weekend I saw this, and I don't know if it's tongue in cheek. I don't know if he really wants to do it, But Deion Sanders has, through social media yet again, said, hey, Big 12, give Jackson State a call. I'll sit down and talk to you. I'll sit down and talk to you.
They can't even beat Alabama A&M. They wouldn't be able to beat Alabama's fourth string. And they're wanting to take this on. Win the SWAC a few times first. For crying out loud. Good Lord. I mean, get to the point where you're going to the FCS playoffs. I mean, for goodness sakes.
Yes.
I mean, this is the big boys.
That is,
What was it that years ago from WCW, the NWA? It was Dusty Rhodes said, where the big boys play. That's what he used to say. And get to that pay window.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, the late, great Dusty Rhodes.
I applaud Deion Sanders for opening up the invite, but I don't see Bob Bowlesby reaching out to Jackson State to offer.
Now, Bob Bowlesby did offer some things yesterday. He knows his wallet's about to get a lot lighter.
but we've got some Bob Bowlesby stuff because this is good. But we'll get to that here in a little bit. Let's get to Jeff from the Borough real fast. Good morning, Jeff.
What's going on, guys? Boy, I tell you what, y'all really start off with good morning, don't you? And laugh there. Jackson State can't go to the playoffs because the SWAC don't go to the playoffs.
That's what we were saying,
I know.
We were saying, yeah.
We know that.
They got that stupid bowl in Atlanta they play. So
Celebration Bowl.
Yeah.
Whatever they call it.
That's what I'm saying. Work out a deal. Get the SWAC to modernize and go to the playoffs. Get good enough and do that.
Exactly. And years ago, somebody, he was a big SWAC man. I said, why don't y'all just go to the playoffs? He said, well, it's tradition. I guess they didn't want to go or something. It's tradition or something.
Well, the thing is the SWAC a long time ago, when I asked this question, it was about maybe 10, 15 years ago, I asked this question to someone within the SWAC, and the answer that I got is they were tired of being a 16 seed team or whatever, the lowest seed team, going and losing by 40 and financially not making any money. They say they can make more money by playing in a SWAC championship game, and they get more exposure than playing one game in a college football playoff. But it's,
Well, if that's the case, then don't be in the NCAA basketball tournament.
Yeah.
That's the case.
Or if it's the case, get better facilities, get better teams, and step up your league.
Well, yeah, that's true. I agree with that, too. I agree with that, but I agree with that. But I didn't want to ask Drew. Drew, were you surprised the kid from down here in Murfreesboro went to the Canes?
Yeah, a little bit. I thought he would go to Tennessee, honestly, for a little bit.
He said he wanted to go somewhere where they develop wide receivers, and Miami's definitely done that. So,
well, I mean, lately Tennessee used to be wide receiver university, but that was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Probably the early 2000s is when it quit. So they haven't been putting guys into pros, and so until Josh Heupel goes out here and wins some games and throws the ball around and some receivers, produce, that's what everybody's going to be thinking.
Yeah, that's true. They was talking about all the NFL receivers that Miami produced, and just like that James kid that's out of Georgia. He said he wanted to go somewhere where they develop running backs. And of course, they got 4 or 5 in the NFL, right now. But and everything. But I know y'all's buddy Tiger. They got a scrimmage today. They scrimmaged Innsworth last week, and for the preseason. And stuff like that, and they opened with Brentwood. Of course, they're the 6A runner-up. We got 6 classes in Tennessee. They're the runner-up last year. That's who they play the first ball game. But I don't know how it's gonna wash out. He's got a lot of transfers. Kids that come from other schools and things like that, different places. But I don't know how he's going to do. I think if they play 10 games, I think if they go 5-5, it'd be a great season because it's real competitive up here in the region we're in. It's real competitive with Oakland and Riverdale and teams like that. But no, it's kind of hilarious about the SWAC. Like I said, just don't be in no national tournaments at all. Then they gonna get their head beat in. So, but what they should do is when Jackson State plays Tennessee State over in Memphis at halftime, we get Eddie George and Deion Sanders. They can play 1-on-1 there and see who scores first. Whoever gets run over, we loses the ball game. We just call it a half and call it a day, and they can go back to Tennessee State, go back to Nashville when they get through. They just do that. So y'all hang in there and have a good one.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
And Jeff, of course, is talking about Isaiah Horton, the All-American wide receiver at Murfreesboro. In Oakland. They had a great team last year, and he commits to that. So very interesting. Nice get right there.
So it is Tennessee State and Jackson State, September 11th.
Yep.
In Memphis.
That's correct.
That's what he's referring to. So Eddie George is the head coach there at Tennessee State, and you got Deion Sanders, the head coach at Jackson State. Mm-hmm. So that is where Jeff is referring. I had forgotten Eddie George had taken over.
Yeah, that's right.
At Tennessee State. I'd forgotten that.
This is going to be his first year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that is how we get the show going. 256-576-4977. You can jump in on the conversation this morning. That's the good, I guess you could say, the lighthearted part of the morning. If you are Ed Orgeron, you're not waking up probably in the best of moods, I would say, because your quarterback room, your potential starting quarterbacks. Now, remember at SEC Media Days, Ed Orgeron said the guys in the locker room already know who the starting quarterback is going to be. And now he didn't tell anybody who that was.
Well,
I mean, is it Max Johnson? Was it Miles Brennan? We know now, though, it won't be Miles Brennan because of the injury that Miles Brennan suffers.
Well, remember, we talked to Jordy Collada of the Jordy Collada Show the first day in Hoover, and it was our maiden voyage with him on the program live on Radio Row at the Winfrey Hotel. And he told us the exact same thing about how Ed Orgeron believed that the team knew who the quarterback was. And he strongly believed that Max Johnson was the guy, and it wasn't close. And now we have this injury with Miles Brennan. We've had others with that were close to the LSU situation say they still thought Brennan had an edge. But honestly, the people that you listen to, the Jordy Colladas, the Matt Mosconas, the people that, to me, know the most about the Bayou Bengals, favored Max Johnson based upon what he did at the end of last season.
Right.
But it was still going to be a race, no doubt about it. But it looks like now, as you said, it's over. Sad for Brennan to get hurt again.
They're saying a broken left arm, which will likely keep him out for most of the 21 season.
Well, and then you'll probably see him in the transfer portal moving on to play for Jackson State in the SWAC to try to get them to the Big 12. I'm kidding there. But anyway, I'm just saying he'll find somewhere else to play.
According to The Athletic, Brennan had a freak fall in which he landed on his left arm, tried to fight through the pain, eventually went in to discover a broken humerus bone. It brought back memories of Brennan playing against Missouri with a torn abdominal muscle.
Weird injuries.
This time it might have crushed the fifth-year senior's hopes of finally becoming the starter for LSU. So,
well, I mean, he was very productive last year before he got hurt, and you're right, he has been patient. It's been a rarity because quarterbacks that's the most transient position.
Right.
But this gives Max Johnson a chance to put a stranglehold on it for the rest of his career.
And you mentioned Brennan possibly going somewhere else due to COVID-altered NCAA rules. He still will have a year of eligibility left, will Miles Brennan. So will he finish that up in a Tigers uniform if he doesn't play this year, or will it be somewhere else?
Almost assuredly somewhere else. So, hopefully he can get healthy and get an opportunity. But I think this is Max Johnson's job, and now it's going to be a layup.
So what does this do for LSU's prognosis for the year? Does it change your expectations? Because you had them finishing second in the West behind Alabama.
Yeah.
Does that change the expectations surrounding the LSU football program? Does Max Johnson give them that? I'm not saying Joe Burrow numbers. I'm not putting Max Johnson in Joe Burrow category. But does it give them the best option to succeed? Obviously, people think he should be the starter. Does he fit that offensive scheme the best for LSU to produce a second-place finish in the West?
Well, I mean, I think that he really put up nice numbers at the end of last year. They won in the Swamp. They beat Ole Miss in a comeback. He threw the ball around really well. But again, understand they're changing the offensive system again back to the Joe Brady
magic. They want to capture that magic in a bottle
that
again.
System, and so they think that that's going to solve all their problems when they need to learn how to block, tackle, and be a little tougher and not opt out, and all this other stuff. But anyway, they think that going back to exactly what Joe Brady did without Joe Brady calling the plays will work, and maybe it does. But I mean, I do think that Max Johnson can be really, productive. And remember what Keyshawn Butte did, in that Ole Miss game. I mean, 308 yards receiving. I mean, he went absolutely bananas. So the expectations for him are going to be off the chain. And then you've got John Emery in the running back. You've got a good 1-2 punch there. And so I think overall, if you're LSU, you've got the weapons. You've got some other young receivers like a Brian Thomas that they got late in recruiting that should be able to come in and help. And then they don't have a Reed Gilbert. He's on his third or fourth school. I can't remember, but he's going to Georgia this time to be an ex-receiver. But they don't have him, but they have some talented tight ends. And it's never been a question of talent with LSU. It's always been coaching and focus, and still should come down to that this fall.
All right, 256-576-4977. Your thoughts surrounding the LSU Tiger program, and what does the loss of Miles Brennan really mean to the Tigers? We can get your thoughts. And is that one of the biggest concerns for LSU? Also, we're asking the question, what are the biggest question marks, or what excites you the most about your SEC team? Alabama will officially hit the practice field on Friday for the first time. They will report on Thursday, so we will ask that question later in the week for both Alabama and Auburn as they get rolling along. Now, coming up here in just a few minutes, Ryan Callahan will join the show as we turn our attention to Tennessee football, because yesterday the Vols drew. We talked to Keith Niebuhr yesterday, and he said, keep in mind, guys, there's not a lot of big offensive line products that are still left to get. A couple of them. One of those yesterday, and Tennessee able to land a 4-star offensive line prospect for the 2022 class.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's been a pretty good few days for the Tennessee Volunteers, and that's why we're going to bring Ryan Callahan back into the program. He's done a great job with Go Vols 24/7. And Addison Nichols is a guy that they had targeted, early on in the process. And he'd been I think considered, if you followed it enough, a heavy lean to Tennessee. And they were able to bring him in. But that's not all that's been going on. I mean, yeah, they've also, they're set up strong with one of their top edge rushing targets, and that's of course Joshua Josephs, and he's set his commitment date as well. We'll talk to Ryan about that. And in the last few days, they also added to their commitment list when you talk about even a 2023 prospect, and that of course is safety Jack Luttrell. He committed to Tennessee, and then just right before that, Caleb Perry did also. So Tennessee's been busy. They've been kind of building their class. So they've done a really nice job. If you think about it, we considering everything around that program, the NCAA speculation, which they cannot control, and of course all the guys they lost in the transfer portal. But it looks like Josh Heupel and his coaching staff are at least starting to establish themselves. And really, with what happened with Rock Taylor from Oxford, him ended up at Memphis, and they really had got off on the wrong foot in the state of Alabama, they seem to be stabilizing themselves.
Did you see Addison Nichols' video yesterday that he released on his deck? It looked like a gender reveal type of thing. He had a football stood up as like a paper mache football type of thing, and
for
then
a pregnancy kind of thing.
And then exploded it up into orange stuff, and then did Superman. Then tore his shirt apart to reveal a Tennessee T-shirt.
Well, I can just tell Superman that he's going to have to block someone. I know these kids their 15 minutes of fame here, but
he got his 30 seconds of attention yesterday to Addison Nichols. All right, we're going to give 15 minutes to Ryan Callahan coming up after the break. He'll join us to talk more Tennessee football recruiting.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck on the north side of Useless on the Parkway. That one's got a motorcycle involved with injuries. Traffic is sliding by it on the right side. A lot of folks choosing to exit off there. Both lanes northbound, pretty well blocked up by that one. That's our only working accident. Everything else is clear this morning. The Somnodent from Dr. Sandman's insurance accepted for sleep apnea or for snoring. Easy to use oral device with no mask, no hose. 350-CARE or RandallSandlin.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye, Skywatch Traffic Center.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
In today's real estate market, you need the right professionals to help make sure your home purchase is smooth and hassle-free. That's where Jacob Title comes in. Stan McDonald and the staff at Jacob Title cater to the realtor and clients who are looking for a top-flight closing experience. Jacob Title uses the latest and best technologies to ensure a safe and secure exchange of funds, and they pride themselves on great communication well before and during the real estate closing process. Jacob Title in Huntsville and Madison, and online at jacobtitle.com.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Ann Adams. Ann, I understand you have some exciting news.
Yes, Wes, I do. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services was just recognized in the 30th Annual Harris Poll Equitrin as the Real Estate Agency Brand of the Year and the most trusted real estate brand.
That is awesome news, Ann. Great companies in Huntsville, Alabama, winning awards is what we want. Is it a great time to list your home?
Yes, it is. The inventory is low and the market is heating up.
And I understand you're also looking for agents.
I am. We are so busy, Wes, we need agents to keep up with the demand.
Ann Adams and Rise Real Estate has been doing business in North Alabama for the last 35 years. If you want to do business with someone you can trust, she has been writing contracts since she was 9 years old. Call Ann today at 256-337-2625.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Save now on Pro Essentials with Lowe's Pro Summer Savings. Save on select appliance special values. Plus, save an additional $50 when you buy 2 or more appliances, each priced $396 or more. You'll also find savings on tools and more throughout the store. At Lowe's, the new home for pros. Must ask cashier to apply discount in store. Online must use promo code. Can't be combined with any other discounts. See Lowes.com for exclusions and terms. Valid 7/15 through 8/4. U.S. only.
In 2 years, you can have a career that makes sense for you. Skill up and earn a living working with your hands, or work on the front line of computer information systems and cybersecurity. Get a degree that lets your healing heart take care of people. Help design and manufacture the most advanced cars, machinery, or even aerospace components. In just 2 years, great careers are within your reach at Drake State Community and Technical College. Visit drakestate.edu to apply.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
All right, welcome back to Talking Ball, 7:25 on this Tuesday morning. Coming up here in just a minute, Ryan Callahan will join the program as we do talk some Tennessee football recruiting. That is what we got to before the break. And we'll fill you in a little bit more after the break. But yesterday it was approved. Nick Saban's contract extension, 8 years, $84.8 million. In 2021-2022, Nick Saban will get $9.5 million. And he'll get 9.9 in 2022-2023. It'll go up to $10.3 million in 23-24. 10.7 in 24-25. He'll make $11.1 million in 25-26. 26-27. He goes back down. He's going to have to save the pennies a little bit because he only will make $10.7 million. 27 and 28, he'll go back up to 11.1. And then in 28-29, $11.5 million for Nick Saban.
No doubt about it, and it's worth every penny, and Coach Saban doesn't seem to be slowing down. That should be music to the ears of Alabama fans and really to the SEC because Alabama is what drives the engine of the conference and keeps them at the top nationally. There were some quotes from Kirk Herbstreit about what could be great rivalry games in the SEC with Oklahoma and Texas coming in. He didn't mention Alabama, which was kind of perplexing a little bit. Because Alabama and Oklahoma have already hooked up in the playoff. Of course, I know that the Sooners got trucked, but again, it was the Kyler Murray-Tua Tagovailoa matchup in 2018 that the Alabama won. Josh Jacobs putting on a show against his home state school that he detested so much. And then, Alabama and Texas are going to play coming up, I believe, next year. They start that 2-year deal, and it could end up being an SEC game depending on what we see. But again, and we've seen Texas recently play LSU as well in a 2-game deal. So it's going to be some exciting times for the league, no question.
All right, so that is your latest Nick Saban coaching contract update. Obviously, with Texas and Oklahoma joining the league, you wonder what the coaches' salaries are going to look like in a few years at the SEC, and there's no doubt it's going to stay the premier college football conference in America. It only just gets stronger with Texas and Oklahoma. You wonder how much that is going to drive the coaching salaries up all across college football. Because with the SEC getting as strong as it is, and if Texas can somehow, they struggled in the Big 12. You wonder if they ever get back on track. If Alabama stays where they are, Texas has deep pockets. They're going to pay their coach X amount of dollars. They're going to be able to afford to do it. Oklahoma will be able to afford to pay Lincoln Riley if he keeps winning. If Kirby Smart wins a national championship, they'll have to pay him more. You wonder how high these head coaching salaries will escalate in the SEC if the SEC stays where it's at, which is the best football conference in America.
Well, they're not going to spend less money.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's going to go down. I'm wondering how high the ceiling will be.
Who knows? But, it's all about the money, and that's why, all these guys and, in the coaching profession has turned into such a lucrative business. You can be a position coach and make hundreds of thousands of dollars, $500,000, $600,000, $750,000, $900,000, nearly $1 million. Heck, Jeff Banks making $1 million a year as a special teams coach at Texas. Again, you can make such a lavish living in coaching. It's a high pressure situation. Of course, it can turn sour quickly, but if you do it well and you work for the right people, no question. That you can climb the ladder quickly, and it can be a very, very, very lucrative business. Even if you lose your job, you can basically set yourself up financially for life.
All right, so while we wait to get Ryan Callahan on the show this morning, I did mention Bob Bowlesby's name.
Yes.
Because Bob Bowlesby yesterday started talking about the college football playoff expansion, but that's not where I'm going to go with Bob Bowlesby first. I'm going to go with Bob Bowlesby this, because Pete Thamel put this out there yesterday, as did Max Olson. Bob Bowlesby was asked about the cease and desist letter at yesterday's Texas Senate hearing. And Bob Bowlesby said, "We've agreed not to escalate this publicly. It's in neither party's best interest to do so." And the reason why Bob Bowlesby says that was because ESPN was due to pay the Big 12 about $500 million over the next 4 years.
Money.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Exactly. The money.
Oh, I mean, Bob Bowlesby is not going to turn away $500 million for his league. And that is why he says we've agreed to not escalate this publicly. It's in neither party's best interest to do so. But Bob Bowlesby didn't stop there, though. Bob Bowlesby did talk about the playoff expansion. Now, yesterday we were talking about Gene Smith, the Ohio State athletic director, who said, okay, wait a minute. We need to pump the brakes on talking about adding 12 teams to the college football playoffs. Remember, it's not official. There was a lot of this buzz about 2 months ago that, okay, it looks like we're going to go to 12 teams, looks like we're going to be at this certain point, but it's not official. Bob Bowlesby did address that yesterday. We will get into more of what Bob Bowlesby had to say as time went along, because Ryan Callahan should join us here in the next couple minutes, and I want to make sure that we spend a little bit more time on what Bob Bowlesby had to say and the future of the college football playoffs expansion. And but I also want to make sure we get into Ryan Callahan, as he is going to set to join us, because we asked, and we were talking about this at SEC Media Days, Drew, that we felt on this show that Josh Heupel was out recruiting Brian Harsin, both of them getting to the schools around the same time. Josh Heupel having to go through possible NCAA sanctions, but he looks like he is off and running. We talked to Keith Niebuhr yesterday about the Auburn Tigers. Now let's turn our attention back to Josh Heupel and the Tennessee Volunteers.
Absolutely, and who better than to talk with? He does a great job, as does that whole staff at Go Vols 24/7. He is the recruiting editor, and it never stops for him. Basically 365 days a year. You can check them out at govols247.com, and that is our good friend Ryan Callahan, who is with us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Ryan, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Hey, doing well. How are you guys?
We are good, and it's good, right? It's exciting right now to be a Tennessee Vol. I know we've talked with you about the NCAA investigation. They can't control that, but they certainly can control recruiting right now and how they approach prospects. And we talked about it earlier in this hour, but a huge piece of the puzzle, literally and figuratively, for the Vols yesterday along the offensive line.
No question. Addison Nichols had been really one of Tennessee's top targets for the past two staffs. Josh Heupel's staff picked up right where Jeremy Pruitt's staff left off in recruiting him. He got his offer from Tennessee back in April of 2019, so this one's been going for more than 2 years. And he'd visited Tennessee, I think, 6 times as a recruit, something like that. But this is a guy that had ties to Knoxville and to Tennessee. His mother went to Tennessee. He spent a lot of time in Knoxville growing up, visiting Knoxville to see his grandparents, and went to a number of Tennessee games, Tennessee football camps, basketball camps, things like that growing up while he was in the area. So just one of those recruitments that we've seen Tennessee lose in recent years with guys like Tate Ratledge even Trevor Lawrence, who grew up being Tennessee fans, but decided to go elsewhere for college. And so Addison Nichols, it's important when you're obviously trying to build back to get any of those types of players who are good enough to play at your school and have those kinds of ties. And so they took advantage of it with Addison Nichols and beat out some good schools to get him: Georgia, Florida, USC, Ohio State, North Carolina. The nice win for Tennessee, and really kind of the first, I think, not the first big win that Josh Heupel's staff has had, but to get a near top 100 prospect like that out of the state of Georgia and do it over such good competition and schools that would have taken him, it definitely feels like Josh Heupel's biggest recruiting win to date, and certainly was one Tennessee was celebrating yesterday.
And good offensive linemen are hard to come by, and when you're able to get a 4-star offensive lineman really to help build that future, that's a plus.
No question, and he's a versatile guy. He plays tackle in high school like most guys, but might project as more of a guard at the next level. Probably capable of playing tackle, so we'll see how that goes over time. But probably a guy who could play just about anywhere on the offensive line with his skill set and size at 6'5" and about 318 pounds. And then on top of that, just a guy that I think is going to be big for the culture that this staff is trying to build. I think they feel that he can be big in sort of setting the tone as both a peer recruiter, as a guy to sort of build a program around. I think they feel that he and Taven Jackson, the 4-star quarterback from Indiana, can kind of be the faces of this class for Tennessee and try to go out there and bring some other talent with them. So we'll see how that goes in the coming months. But I think they feel Addison Nichols is sort of a foundational piece they can build this program around as they sort of try to reset the culture to be more like what they want.
And then Ryan Callahan with us, GoVol's 24/7 recruiting editor. The other side of the ball, some good news in the last few days for Tennessee, a 2022 linebacker, and then even delving into the 2023 class for a piece in the secondary.
Yeah, it's been a nice few days for Tennessee. Like a lot of schools, they had a recruiting event Saturday to sort of wrap up the summer, going into what has become the typical August dead period that started on Sunday. And yeah, Saturday they had a scheduled announcement, not a player who was on campus, but Caleb Perry was a long-time, or not a long-time target, but had been a top target since getting an offer from Tennessee back on June 1st when he went to Tennessee's first camp of the year. So big deal to get one of their most realistic options, it looked like, at linebacker, a pretty athletic guy that I think they feel is a good fit for what they want to do, and then kind of that modern linebacker who's just a good athlete. Not the biggest linebacker at only 215 pounds right now, but he, at 6'4", 215 and good speed, ran a 4.55 40-yard dash at Tennessee's camp. You like adding that kind of athlete, so and got him out of Kentucky's backyard, beat out Kentucky, Cincinnati, and Purdue for him. So sort of an under-the-radar addition a little bit, but I think one that could turn out to be a pretty good one. And then later that day, from one of the visitors during Saturday's event, Jack Luttrell, a class of 2023 safety, became the first member of that class for Tennessee in 2023. So a nice early pickup there. Another guy with East Tennessee ties. His dad is from the Knoxville area. Both of his parents played at Carson Newman University just down the road from Tennessee and were athletes there. His dad's a former high school football coach in Knoxville, actually. So and is his head coach now also. So you like having a coach's son. So a couple nice pickups there for Tennessee. Neither one, extremely highly ranked. Not 4 stars, but I think they feel like those are, again, nice foundational pieces that Tennessee can sort of continue to build around. And certainly Caleb Perry, I think there's a sense that some people feel he's maybe a bit underrated, just with where he's ranked right now and compared to what they saw on the field during Tennessee's camp back in early June.
What does your gut tell you about Joshua Joseph?
Yeah, I think Tennessee's got a real shot there. It's interesting that he went to Auburn a little more than a week ago. And I thought that offer that he got less than a month ago might really be one to watch. He's got some Auburn connections at his school, and I think has liked Auburn a little bit in the past. So He goes there, but he kind of came away from that visit saying, kind of indicating Auburn's got a little work to do still to really get up there. So the main contenders still seem to be Tennessee, Michigan, and Kentucky at the moment. We'll see if Auburn or anybody else can change that, but it's kind of been those three for a little while. I think Tennessee's in about as good a shape as any of those three at this point. They got him on campus twice in June. He's already planning to come back and take an official visit to Tennessee sometime early in the season before announcing his decision now on October 1st, as he revealed yesterday. So I think, Tennessee's in pretty good shape there, and they've done a nice job of recruiting him. That's one of the big needs they still have left, getting some edge rushing help in this class. I think they have done a good job with Joshua Joseph, made him a big priority, and that's one that's going to continue to be really important as Tennessee looks to start. They've kind of haven't wrapped up their offensive class just yet, but they're pretty close to wrapping up their offensive class. Now it's time to turn their attention to defense. They need some secondary help. They need some pass rushers. Need a little more defensive line help, things like that. And that's where all the big needs are really in this class for Tennessee too. So Joshua Joseph is a big one, and we'll see how Tennessee can do with that one over the next 2 months.
And speaking of DL, I don't know if it's been completely confirmed yet, but there's been strong rumors about maybe the best player in America transferring to Knoxville to play for Powell High School. What's the latest with Walter Nolan? I know you kind of spoke on that when we had you on last, but it certainly couldn't hurt Tennessee's chances if this happens.
Yeah, definitely, and it is confirmed now that he is going to play at Powell High School, which is essentially in Knoxville. If you're familiar with that, he's about 10 miles from Tennessee's campus at Powell. So that's a big deal for Tennessee to have him right there in its backyard, and we'll see if that makes a difference. Certainly, there's some conflicting views on that, just exactly where things stand in his recruitment, but that there's no question that helps Tennessee to have a little more access to him this fall. He's a guy who's hoping to be an early enrollee, so he's going to make a decision certainly and wrap things up by December as long as everything goes according to plan. There's still even a chance of an August commitment. He's talked about that throughout the summer, and I think that's still very much on the table. So if that happens, all bets are off on where he ends up, and I don't think anyone believes it would be final if he does announce a decision this month. I think everyone thinks that one's going all the way to signing day. But Tennessee would certainly be more of a factor in that decision, I think, this month, just based on the movement they've made over the past couple months. Florida and Michigan also would be up there. I think Georgia, maybe the dark horse. Haven't heard quite as much Alabama buzz in that one lately, but I think you never count them out. So that's one of those recruitments where, just about anybody in his top five you could see landing him. But certainly Tennessee, I think you'd have to say their odds have improved at least based on that decision to move to Knoxville and the fact that he visited them twice last month while he was kind of getting settled in the area. His family took the opportunity to stop by a couple of times and spent multiple days there toward the end of June. So I think Rodney Garner, Tennessee fans have seen it before over the years, losing battles to him at Auburn and Georgia.
He knows the tricks.
Yeah, the longtime fans certainly remember him being at Tennessee in the late 90s, too, and recruiting some really good players in his couple of years there. So they certainly know Rodney Garner is capable of pulling off a big recruiting win. They're getting to maybe enjoy that a little bit on their side of the fence again, with Garner back on staff and spearheading Walter Nolan's recruitment. He's done a good job to get Tennessee back in it.
I know we've talked about it before, but, man, I tell you what Josh Heupel is doing right now is working. I mean, it's what he's been able to do to get these kids in there, to come in there to Tennessee amid everything that's gone on. He seems to be pushing the right buttons.
Well, I think they've done a really good job with the players that they have gotten on campus. You continue to hear from, the Addison Nichols and Taven Jacksons and the guys like that who are in Tennessee's class. They've really connected with Josh Heupel's staff. I'm not sure Addison Nichols, I think some people looked at that as an open and shut case where he's just a guy that wanted to go to Tennessee. I don't think that's really the case. I'm not, talking with him about it, I'm not sure he ends up at Tennessee with the former staff. I think he felt sort of a different connection with this staff. So I think they've done a really good job with the players that they have gotten on campus. I think, they've still got to continue to work and overcome everything that has been thrown at them. And they're outside the top 25 right now in the team recruiting rankings on 24/7 Sports. So there's a lot of ground to make up. still to finish where Tennessee fans are used to Tennessee finishing in recruiting. But I've always said a top 25 class is kind of I think a realistic goal for this class. I don't think a top 10 or top 15 class is all that realistic unless just a bunch of things go their way over the next several months. But I do think they can at least climb a little bit higher than where they are now, and we'll see if they can do that. But they've got to do some work, and they've got to have a good season. Realistically, they probably got to go out there and put a pretty good product on the field to continue to build on this. But they have had a nice summer to kind of get more pieces of this class to fall into place, and now 13 commitments of some pretty highly ranked guys. They're doing pretty well now.
Well, and my final question for you, Ryan, is we had a caller call in earlier in the show, and he was talking about Isaiah Horton from Murfreesboro committing to Miami, really over Tennessee. Is there concern about the wide receiver position in this class? And I think once Josh Heupel puts the product on the field in Tennessee, the receivers start to produce, maybe they can get that pipeline going again. But, this is a program that used to be wide receiver U back in the late 90s, early 2000s, through what they had done from the 70s and the 80s and everything like that. But in the last decade or so, that's fallen off. But talk about kind of the wide receiver recruiting right now for Tennessee.
Yeah, I think they're actually in a better spot than people might realize at that position. I think Cameron Miller was a really nice pickup for them out of Memphis, and kind of is the in-state star of this class for Tennessee right now. They haven't had a ton of success in-state in this class, and what is unfortunately for them, a really strong 2022 class in-state. But Walter Nolan, obviously one of the big pieces that's still out there that they could add to this class, but currently only 2 in-state commitments, and Cameron Miller's kind of the big one. Alabama was looking at him pretty hard for a while. He just didn't get to camp there in June because of a hamstring injury. So he's a good player. I think a lot of people are going to be impressed with him this fall because he didn't get to play last year just because the Memphis City schools sitting out last season due to COVID. And then on top of that, you got Squirrel White from Alabama, the slot receiver. They really like his speed. So I think those are 2 nice pieces, and who they add to go along with them will determine just how big of a miss Isaiah Horton was for them. I think there's still some divided opinions on him out there, fair or not. I think his rating certainly, I think it would have been a big deal for Tennessee perception-wise, certainly to get him. But they're in on a couple of other receivers and just offered one this past week, actually, or this past weekend that they liked in person. Chaz Nimrod from Arkansas got an offer from Tennessee this past weekend, and looks like Tennessee's got a real shot at him as he looks to make a decision this month. The big name still out there, Alec Iomanor out of Massachusetts, originally from Canada. That looks like a Tennessee-Stanford battle, and he's sort of an under-the-radar name, not rated currently on 24/7 Sports, but a big guy, well-built, around 6'3", 210 pounds, and a lot of people who've seen him play say he's sort of a freak. So Tennessee got their sights set on him as he moves toward a mid-August decision potentially. And those are the kind of the 2 big names still out there, and Caden Pope in state as well. So still some names they like at wide receiver. And as you said, I think they're hoping to put a good product on the field this year. And if they do that, I think they're not too worried about who they end up with. I think they feel that this offense will start to sell itself if it looks the way they want it to look.
No question about that. But we thank you, Ryan, for joining us on the show. Really appreciate it, and taking the time, as always, to fill us in on Tennessee recruiting. But let everybody know how to follow your work, because it's been fast and furious in the last several days, and it's going to continue.
It really has, and starts in earnest today with football camp coverage as well, with Tennessee having its pre-camp press conference with Josh Heupel and a couple of coordinators and some players. So yeah. All attention now shifting to the football side, and we'll have it all covered for you at GoVols247.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at Ryan Callahan 247.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, Ryan.
Anytime. Thanks, guys.
Let's get our break in. When we come back and wrap up our number 1.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We had that one wreck on the Parkway just north of Useless northbound. That one had a motorcycle involved with an injury. May still be trying to get it clear. They were running all the traffic over to the far right side of the road to get by that one. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialists have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food, from delicious starters to 50-style diner food and meat-and-three meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. And you can enjoy $50 worth of delicious Bubby's Diner food for half price with this week's Zone Deal. On sale now online at 977ESPN.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision overhead garage door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision overhead garage door service. Call 256-400-4500.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000 square foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
More intense than a Nick Saban press conference.
You sure you want to ask?
Your home of ESPN Radio. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Can't assume anything. I don't even know what you asked me, but I just wanted to say that.
All right, 7:52, 7:53. Clock changed as I started. It is a crisp, cool 68 degrees. A little crispness in the air this morning. Just a hint of fall in the air. High school football practices going on. As you mentioned, Tennessee will start, as Ryan Callahan mentioned, Tennessee will start practices tomorrow. Alabama gets going on Friday. So the start of the high school football, start of the college football season, inching closer and closer. I have been following, and Drew, I don't know if you have or not, but Texas, Oklahoma, they've all been in front of the Texas State Senate having to answer questions the past few days. Well, Texas was in there yesterday, and their athletic director, Jay Hartzell, was in front of the Texas State Senate.
This is going to hurt.
And he got asked yesterday what the Texas athletic budget was. By the way, Alabama's is $164 million this past year, okay? He asked what the Texas budget was. Jay Hartzell said $220 to $225 million. The Senator, Louis Colcourse, responded by saying that's without a winning football team. The athletic director had to reply and said, we've been winning, just not like we like to win. Colcourse responded, 3-7 against the Horned Frogs. He goes, maybe your fan base would rather lose to Alabama than TCU.
Wow. That's going to leave a mark. Maybe you should have hired Gary Patterson, you moron. I mean, I don't know. The guy's done more with less and elevated that whole program. And,
But the best was, though, and I'm sure everybody saw it, it was a picture of Texas standing there. I believe it was Oklahoma. The Oklahoma athletic director or the Oklahoma president standing up there, or I believe maybe it was Texas, but Bob Bowlesby was in the background, and he was looking rather furious this whole time. Wolverine Dan with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Good morning, sir.
Gentlemen.
How you been doing, Dan? You enjoying retirement?
I'm very well, but I'll tell you why I haven't called so much.
Right.
First off, when is the first football game start? Is that going to be the Hall of Fame Bowl?
Yeah, that's
yep. This week. Yep.
Thursday night, I believe, isn't it? Or
we're
is
talking
it
about
Sunday?
we're preseason NFL.
Yeah, preseason NFL. Yes.
Yeah.
So Thursday night they're going to play Thursday night.
I don't know when it is. I haven't looked. I know it's coming up. It's the Hall of Fame game. Yes.
But it is Thursday.
It's this week. Scott's looking it up. I think it is Thursday night.
Okay. All right. Well, so the reason why I haven't called so much is Mama's got the honeydew, baby. I retired. She's been honeydewing me pretty good. But guess what? It's all good. I'm almost done. I got the last project right now. I'm finishing, and I'll be ready for football. This boy here is going to be watching college football, baby. No more work. I get to watch my Michigan Wolverines and SEC football because I enjoy watching your league because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yes, Thursday night, August 5th. Cowboys Steelers,
Steelers,
preseason, Hall of Fame game.
Well, they're talking big about Ohio State again and everything. And, they're not, and I don't expect a lot from Jim, really, to be honest with you. So if they do get in the ball game and Bama plays them again, guys throttle, beat them senseless. It makes me happy.
Well, if they do that, Michigan will give Harbaugh a contract extension.
No, I think Jim's out. This is his last year.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he just isn't the guy. He's not the guy, dude. You know what I am excited about is Detroit sports. A lot of moves on a lot of the teams in the sports right now in Detroit. Did a lot of good draft choices, made good decisions. Everything looks really good for all these three teams. And speaking of the Red Wings, Pistons, and the Detroit Lions.
Don't expect too much from Luka Garza. I'm just saying. Don't expect too much from Garza.
Well, I will say this, but I'm expecting a lot from this coach, Dan Campbell. He looks real good. And, of course, Stevie is proven. Look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Stevie's proven. He's going to get us back where we need to be. We got a great left defenseman. We got another goalie coming in. Hey, I like where we're going. All right, I just don't like Jimmy Boy.
All right,
thanks, Wolverine Dan,
we
for the
appreciate
phone
you
call.
checking in. Wolverine Dan, and this quote to end the hour. Texas State Senator Charles Perry to Texas President Jay Hartzell. If you're as great as you think you are, you should have made the Big 12 equal or better than the SEC. You didn't do it. Just wanted to clarify that Jay Hartzell is actually the president of Texas.
Okay.
No, and just to let you know that the salvos that were being thrown.
Brent Drinkard says, have you seen the memes of Clemson and Florida State wanting to join the SEC? I told you, social media world was abuzz yesterday when some idiot put that out there. All right, that's hour one. We're going to talk high school football.
Irving McGuire next. Lee High School. Don't miss it.
Save now on Pro Essentials with Lowe's Pro Summer Savings. Save on select appliance special values. Plus, save an additional $50 when you buy 2 or more appliances, each priced $396 or more. You'll also find savings on tools and more throughout the store. At Lowe's, the new home for pros. Must ask cashier to apply discount in store. Online must use promo code. Can't be combined with any other discounts. See Lowe's.com for exclusions and terms. Valid 7/15 through 8/4. U.S. only.
Tom Luganbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. People like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford, at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there, Woody Anderson Ford.
Hey friends, Eli Gold here for Environmental Comfort System.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
That accident on the Parkway northbound at Useless has been our only working accident. That one had a motorcycle involved with an injury. Should be about cleared up now. Do your methods to lose weight no longer work for you? Odds are your hormones are the problem. Find out with a free hormone quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Plenty of sunshine this afternoon, though temperatures are going to be a little cool when you consider the fact that it is early August in North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 80s. We should be consistently climbing into the lower 90s. Quite a change of pace from what we were talking about last week. Temperatures falling into the mid and upper 60s as we head into the overnight. Partly sunny skies for your Wednesday. Temperatures once again climbing into the mid and upper 80s, dropping into the mid 60s through the overnight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
NFL preseason underway in less than 2 weeks, and the start of the season a little over a month away. The Chiefs and Bucks favored to face each other in the Super Bowl again. Chiefs at plus 500, the Bucks at plus 650. MVP odds, Patrick Mahomes leads the way at plus 450, Aaron Rodgers at plus 1,000. USA women's basketball in the quarterfinals against Australia. The U.S. a 15-point favorite, minus 1,300 on the money line. Australia plus 845, over under 160. Saturday, August 21st in Las Vegas, the WBC and IBF welterweight title bout between Manny Pacquiao and the defending champ Errol Spence Jr. Spence the odds-on favorite at minus 210. The 42-year-old Pacquiao the plus 180 underdog. I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is hour number 2 of Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. As we mentioned in hour number 1, if you walk outside this morning, there is a crisp feel to the air. It was only 68 degrees when I walked outside this morning.
Dew on the cars.
Felt just a crisp of air. Now, I know, I've been in this state long enough to know that it is just August 2nd. It is not going to last. We're going to have a little bit of heat. We're going to start the high school football season probably with a little bit of heat. But it makes me feel like fall is around the corner and the start of the high school football season is inching closer and closer.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're excited about the start of football season. We love high school football, high school athletics here at 97.7 The Zone. We are your home for local programming in the Tennessee Valley. And we've got some new blood coaching in the city this year, but coming home in high school football. And one of those is a graduate of J.O. Johnson High School. He played for legendary coach Harold Wells, who is now the head coach of the Meg Jemison Jaguars once again. And it was his first year back last year. We hope to have Coach Harold Wells on the show this week as well. But one of his former players has taken over. He also played at Stillman College in Tuscaloosa and is now back home after a stint at Tuscaloosa County High School as the defensive coordinator. It was really good meeting him and catching up yesterday. I know he's excited, and he's with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline right now for a few minutes, and that is Irving McGuire. Coach, you're with Drew and Scott this morning. How are you, sir?
Doing awesome, guys. How's everything going with you?
Doing good. Are we ready? Are we getting ready for that fall?
Oh, yeah, we're gearing up for it. Guys are excited. They've been working all summer. And, when you've been putting in so much work, you just can't wait to get to that first game.
Well, and Coach, for the listeners, kind of walk through the process of deciding to come back and take this job. You're very familiar with it since you played in this city. And then kind of talk about also the process you've gone through this summer to get acclimated to your new football team and put a staff together and decide and start putting your stamp on the program.
Well, I had an opportunity to come back in another facet a year ago, but I kind of claimed the lead job. I thought it was a great job. They've always had great talent, probably some of the best talent in the city since I've played and before I've played and after I've played. Still have a number of guys in the NFL, so, they really piqued my interest, especially the administration. Principal Tony Woods was a great guy. He was a great coach. So, playing for a coach, he kind of understands where you're going, and the type of support you're going to get for your program. So that was real big in me coming back, especially to Lee High School.
Is it everything kind of where you remembered it? I mean, obviously you're no stranger to Huntsville City football. You're no stranger to playing Lee and the rivalries and everything. Is it just how you thought it would be?
Tremendously. They've always had the talent. I think when we competed against them, they just were missing a few things, that competitive edge that could get them over the top, because I know we've played them and they've had more talented teams than we did. Our guys just fought a little bit harder, and that's why I really wanted to come in and instill into them that fighter's mentality.
And then, Coach, I know it was a big deal for you to come back, and a lot has changed. Lee has a new high school. It's a very nice facility, very nice campus. They've done a lot to upgrade Milton Frank Stadium. What were your thoughts as you got a chance to learn your new school and also see the facilities and kind of the upgrades that have happened since your playing days?
Oh, yeah, it's come a long way. We have field turf on the inside of our field house. We still have some good things that we can update and make these guys feel a little bit more proud about it. But, the facilities are top-notch. I can't complain about it. It's a far cry from the weight room I was lifting in Johnson back in 2001.
Well, Coach, obviously, have you had a chance to – how many days have you guys been out on the field? Just a couple now?
Well, just a couple, but, during the summer, we're able to work out and go out on the field every day. The participation has been tremendous. I know when I first came, it was about 15 guys at workouts, but we averaged this summer right around about 38 to 40. And at a 5A program that we're still building, that's great numbers. So those guys were able to get around each other, move around a lot more, and we were able to see them at OTAs, compete against some of the higher classifications like Austin and Bob Jones. So, that was a great indicator of what we had coming into the school year.
And, Coach, talk about that. A lot has changed, even in since the early 2000s. The 7-on-7 aspect and what you're able to do to stay together in the summer allows for a lot of team building.
Oh, yes. The rules, when I was in school, we couldn't have a helmet. 7-on-7s were really team-based. You had to go to a big football campus or UNA or Alabama. But the ability for us to have OTAs and go against and compete against some local talent and some talent that's a little bit higher than you would play in a season, is just huge for your whole team to go, because we didn't have the whole team aspect. So for your linemen to go out there and get some work and your skill guys to go out there and get some work, it can't be equated on a day-to-day basis.
Have you had a chance to break down your region yet?
Oh, yeah. I know May Jemison, Coach Wells, very well, but, it's been some changes across the whole region. So, East Limestone and Coach Pugh have always done a great job. They're going to be top tier. Russellville has always been top tier. We're going to have some new blood coming in, the Ardmore coming from the Athens region. And I know he's going to have those guys ready to play. I was fortunate enough to actually coach at Ardmore for a year, and this senior bunch was my 8th grade bunch. So I know they're going to be a tough group to go against. So, in Lawrence County, they'll have some new blood, but we've competed against them before, and they're just a hard-nosed, grinded-out team.
And, Coach, we were kind of joking about this, where you're coming from Tuscaloosa County, 7A Region 3. We call it the Region of Death because of how tough the competition is. But how are you kind of able to add to your toolbox and your repertoire coaching against competition at that level?
Yeah, we call it the SEC West, but,
right.
Hey, it's really tough, man, but you really learn how to coach in the scheme when your talent isn't equated to the same as across the board. So you learn how to stay in games and how to compete off the scheme aspect, not just off players. So when you give somebody some players after they've been in a region like that, you look for some good things to happen.
Well, Coach, kind of lay it out there. Who are you going to be counting on this fall to kind of help Lee get back to where you want it to be?
And kind of expound on your numbers, too. I know you've been really enthused yesterday. You were excited about the participation. Your numbers seem to be up.
Oh, yeah. Numbers have been up. They've been growing. Like I said, first came, it was about 15. Then our baseball boys came. It cranked up a little bit. But when the summer really came, we kept it around about 40. I was really, really pleased based upon, because when I first got here, I was a little worried. I couldn't get in the hallways because of COVID and really hunt those guys out. But the kids did a good job of going in the hallways and recruiting and pulling guys out to make sure that we had a full team. But on the other note, man, we look to lean on that offensive line. That offensive line has been there every single day. They're a group that's played a lot of games. And we expect to be able to line up and run the ball behind them. We have James Vassar, who's a potential Power 5 guy on the back end. We have Xavier Wallace, who's a two-sport guy who can move up and down, who's very athletic and strong. Colin Thomas is a spark plug, one of those good bowling ball type center guards that can explode through you and can get to the next level pretty good, along with a young guy in Colin Thompson. Caleb Hill, who will be a senior next year. He's a junior this year. And we look for those guys to lead, follow with a freshman that's going to be in that group, man. You know, he's a very talented with a lot of potential. J3 was a man in the weight room. He's squatting 500. He's close to 300 in the bench, so we want to be able to give him the ball and let him get down here and kind of punish people a little bit, because we want to play a physical brand of football. And then, you know, on the outside, we have Jordan Bell coming back, man. Jordan Bell was awesome last year. He did some really, really great things. He was all city. He would make plays all over the field. And we look for him to do the same thing this year, man. You know, if we can get him into that Devontae Smith role, we can get him the ball in a number of different ways, then I think it's going to be hard for defenses to really key in on him. And then those young guys that just following them behind them, the Vandenbergs, the 3Ds, those guys who've just been working hard, they'll see their touches come because they're going to have to do something to cover Jordan Bell.
And then, Coach, talk about the schedule. I know you inherited your region slate and really the schedule this season. And a lot of those go in 2-year increments, but talk about maybe the future, kind of what you envision doing for Lee.
Well, I like the schedule that they have. It's giving them the opportunity to compete against some high-level guys and kind of prepare for that run that we want to make in the playoffs. When you get to play 2 playoff teams in James Clemens and Grissom, and then the teams in your region, then you have a good number of times to go through some teams that are very, very competitive. But going forward, we want to do the same thing. You know, we want to make sure that we are real competitive in our out-of-region games. We want to make sure that we're going against some high-quality talent. We want to move up and down the state. You know, we want to be recognized throughout the state. So I might have to call on some of my connections in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa on a future reference to make some traveling games, you know, because I want my guys to be known around the state as a hard compete team that people really don't want to schedule for non-conference.
And then finally for me, Coach, it is a 2-part question because I wanted you to shine some light on some guys behind the scenes, talk about the staff you were able to put together, and then your expectations overall going into year one.
Oh, man, I believe I have one of the best staffs in North Alabama. I was able to pull offensive coordinator Preston Judah from Grissom, who was just coming off a good playoff run. The defensive coordinator was Jason Boykin, a guy who's been around football on all levels, college, semi-pro. He's done it at a high level. He just needed the opportunity on the high school level to be that coordinator so he can continue to grow. And then I plugged in a lot of young guys. Coach Thomas, he's coached in Florida and Birmingham from the midfield area. He's been tremendous as our special teams coordinator. But we have former Huntsville high linebacker Cameron Toney.
Oh, nice.
Helping with the linebackers. We have Joshua Draper, former Lehigh graduate who went to UNA, helping with the running backs. Desmond Johnson, who was a former Johnson graduate who played at Tennessee State. Tavares Battle, who also was a Johnson graduate who played at Jackson State. And also one of my good friends came back to coach with me. He played with me at
Johnson, and his name was Leon Wade. So he's been good about helping getting the kids to kind of understand how I am, so I don't have to lose my cool too much. So, man, I just think I have a good staff of quality older coaches, and we believe we can help raise up these new younger coaches to be great coaches in this area as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, Coach. Well, the start of the high school football season quickly approaching, and I'm sure you, the guys, everybody, Lee High School, excited to get this 2021 season underway.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. COVID took a lot from these kids last year, and we plan to bring a lot more excitement and a lot of energy and a spirit around here that hasn't been seen in a while.
And then, of course, Coach, I got to believe what you've told the kids is the goal is to get to the tournament. You got to get to the playoffs, and we saw Grissom break that streak last year. Coach Chip English now at Albertville did a great job, and it's time for Lee to get back in.
Oh, yes, sir. We preach a 1-0 mentality. That's one rep. That's one. It doesn't matter. It's one game at a time. But if we just take care of our individual goals one game at a time, I believe playoffs are something that are definitely in our grasp. And these kids, they deserve it. They've worked for it, and that's our goal.
Well, we appreciate it.
Are you still working out with the guys? I mean, that video almost became viral, Coach.
Hey, listen, I had to get in there and show them that, I wasn't one of those guys that was here just a coach. I was here to get in the trenches with them, and I was going to fight with them. And, once I did that and I was in drills with them, they just came and followed. They know I got their back, and they got mine.
Well, we've certainly got your back. We're excited you're back home to rebuild this Lee program. It's got a proud history. And we look forward to you putting your stamp on General football. But good luck this season, Coach. We look forward to it in just a few weeks, taking the field. But thank you for taking the time for a few minutes to let the listeners know about the Generals. And we good luck to you, and really look forward to speaking with you again down the road.
Hey, I really do appreciate y'all having me on, man. Hey, the family's back.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, have a good one.
Some good stuff. We're going to be previewing some high school football probably from here on out until we get to the regular season.
Yeah, and this week we're going to make a special effort to preview all 5 of our cities.
Yeah, and so make sure after the show you go to 977ESPN.com. We will have a special high school football preview section on our website. You'll be able to go there and listen to all of our interviews as we get you ready for another season of high school football. It is quickly approaching. And you'll be able to go to 977ESPN.com to hear all of those interviews. Some of the topics that we've had in the first hour, carrying over to the second hour, LSU losing Miles Brennan to an arm injury, so the Tigers will be without a quarterback in that room. Bob Bowlesby spoke yesterday. We've talked about the Texas state legislator pounding on Texas and making them feel, I guess, real tall about making that move to the SEC. We've talked about the fake announcement yesterday on social media that Clemson and later Florida State would be joining the SEC. There is no such movement, and it's kind of funny because that is how we kind of deciphered whether or not Texas and Oklahoma was real, because once that announcement came out at SEC Media Days, Drew, neither Texas nor Oklahoma nor the SEC, Greg Sankey had every opportunity in Hoover to say it is not true. It is not true.
No comment.
And no comment was what was had.
As Wes Neighbors put it, 110% it's happening.
That was after his conversation with Greg Sankey at SEC Media Days. All right, I tell you what, let's get a break in. When we come back, we will talk what Bob Bowlesby had to say. We'll also get to your phone calls, 256-576-4977. Hold on.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a stalled vehicle northbound Interstate 65 near the 334-mile marker. That's the Priceville exit. They're sending Decatur PD there to help with traffic control while they get that one cleared out of there. Everything else looks good this morning. You be careful as you make your last-minute dash in. Popeye's 3-piece snack, $4.99 with 3 pieces of crispy tender chicken and a buttermilk biscuit. Popeye's University and Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
Orange is the color power of construction, the color of Kubota and Huntsville Tractor and Equipment. Those who need to get things done trust Kubota's mini excavators, compact track loaders, and the best keeps getting better with the all-new mini compact loader from one of the top dealers in the country. More than 50 years of family service, every part in the book, and folks who know what to do with them. You'll be seeing orange with Huntsville Tractor and Equipment.
Come on, let's go to work.
Hey friends, Eli Gold here for Environmental Comfort Systems. If you're concerned about the air quality inside your home, give my friend Rick Smith a call at Environmental Comfort Systems. Their indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of indoor air contaminants. Give the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and see how comfortable you can be. Breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Brooks & Collier has always been about making the most of your outdoors. Our lush greenhouse and new furniture ideas will inspire you, but we're also about value. Our brands are so handsome, they'll make themselves comfortable inside or out, and so well made, they'll weather the weather for many years to come. Our staff can consult you on the right choices, and Lucy for sure can show us the sofa that's the most comfortable. Make the most of your outdoors. Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
Another year of Coach Saban in Tuscaloosa. You know what that means.
I've been a part of a team since I was 9 years old. It scares me to ever think of the day when I wouldn't be a part of a team.
Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network and the Nick Saban Show is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Join us this afternoon from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to Talkin Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And 8:22 on this Tuesday morning. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 70 degrees, 8:22 in the morning. Safe travels wherever you may be headed, work or into school. I believe tomorrow, Huntsville City Schools, Madison County, Madison City Schools all probably report back. So I think it's either today or tomorrow that they all go back. So safe travels into work or wherever you may be headed. Let's get out to do we have somebody with the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline's wide open for you this morning, 256-576-4977 if you want to get in on a Tuesday morning show. Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby yesterday says, okay, he agreed with Gene Smith, not saying he agreed with Gene Smith, but set out this much is clear that when it comes to the college football playoff expansion, when it was brought up basically a month ago, 2 months ago, Drew, we sat in here and we said it's a foregone conclusion and we're going to go to 12 teams. Bob Bowlesby now is saying, hey, wait a minute. The tectonic plates have shifted a little bit. Let's hit the pause button on the college football playoff expansion. One Power 5 AD told Dennis Dodd, why on God's green earth would the Pac-12 and Big Ten hand over these playoff rights, which only strengthen the SEC? He went on to say, which 12 teams we could just be watching a lot of SEC teams in the 12-team playoff. He goes, with 12
Well,
teams.
wake up and get better and add some teams to your league, you idiots. That's what you do. You don't just sit there and bitch about it. You do something. That's why you suck right now, because you're reactive and not proactive. Get your head out your ass and do something. That's what you do, you clowns. Instead of just moaning and groaning, make your product better, idiots. That's the moron award.
To any conference that wants to slow down the college football playoff expansion?
Yes, it's going to happen. We know that. It's at least going to be 8. So stop whining and do something. Blame the SEC. I mean, freaking Oklahoma and Texas reached out for themselves. And that wasn't fake.
The SEC was, I don't want to say the bad guys, but they have been the conference that gets, I don't want to say picked on. Picked on is not the right one. But when Alabama LSU made the BCS national championship game, that was leverage for them to go away from the BCS title game. Alabama, Georgia makes the college football playoffs national title game. I'm not going to say that leads to the talk of 12 teams, but having 2 teams constantly seeming a threat to get into the college football playoffs, leading them to want to expand to 12. You add Texas and Oklahoma. Legitimately, if you had 12 teams, could you theoretically see 3 to 4 teams from the league get in?
Yes.
So are they going to start crying then that they should go to 16 or 24?
Get better. That's what it's called. You're going to have a great shot to get in with your champion anyway.
Right.
If you get beat 56-6, we don't care. Get better. That's what it's about. Learn to tackle. Hire better coaches. Spend more money.
You could argue that Texas and Oklahoma solved those equations. Had they stayed in the Big 12, you would think they have solved those equations. Steve Sarkisian.
Well, it hasn't worked.
Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley has done a great job replacing Bob Stoops. Texas has been an unmitigated disaster since they forced Mac Brown out, and they get what they deserve because their arrogance is just almost unmatched, unless you talk about Georgia fans or somebody like that who award themselves championships in the preseason all the time. But Texas, as far as just department-wide arrogance, probably didn't have. They've got everybody beat because they think they win everything, and they, and they really don't. And so they're going to have to step up their game in the SEC, or they're going to get their ass whipped.
I was thinking about this the other day. And had Texas and Oklahoma been a part of media days this year, we would have had to have put them in the ballot. And I'm not talking about the 4 pods. I'm not talking about all this. I'm just going to slot Oklahoma into the SEC East, and I'm going to put Texas in the West. Let's just say that is how it was done. How would you have voted the SEC East with Oklahoma being in the East this year?
I can't. I mean, I would vote them to right up there.
Ahead of Georgia or ahead of Florida?
They'd definitely be ahead of Florida. I would right up there with Georgia. But, I mean, I've got to believe that Alabama and Auburn are going to the East. I got to believe that's how this deal is.
Right. Well, yes, theoretically that is what is going to happen.
Now, Texas,
but I just want
Texas in the West, I'd pick them 6. Probably
that's where I'm
6.
saying. I wanted the state of the programs compared to said programs in the SEC. So if you were picking Texas in the West.
I'm not even sure I could pick them over Auburn right now. I just think they're soft and they're a bunch of pansies. Sorry.
So you would say Brian Harsin would put a better product on the field right now than what Steve Sarkisian would in his first year?
Because, defense is not a disease at Auburn. It's definitely one at Texas. Matthew McConaughey can't help you there, bro. He's a good actor, but he can't tackle a damn soul. Okay.
256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And college football playoff expansion. Should college football consider Because really now what has to happen is they're going back to all these schools as ADs, presidents, they're gauging opinions, they're getting all the information, and then they will present that down the road on whether or not they should expand to 12 teams. We're not at the point where we are guaranteed to hear the words playoff expansion. So should they pause any talks of college football playoff expansion until this possible conference expansion unfolds? Because will the Big Ten add teams? What is the Big 12 going to do? Obviously, they're not going to stay at 8 teams. Are they going to expand? Will they become just a glorified group of 5 conference? Will the Big 12 make a splash and try to get 2 teams to replace Oklahoma and Texas to make them viable? So 256-576-4977. Your chance to get in on that question this morning. Your Olympic update. I know you have been waiting all morning for this. Team USA, Drew, gets a win over Spain last night on the hardwood, 95-81. Kevin Durant rescued the Americans as they overcome a 10-point deficit to beat Spain. They advance to the semifinals where they're going to play either Australia or Argentina on Thursday.
They've already got a whooped ass from Australia, so if I were them, I'd be motivated to want to face them again. But that was, and of course, remember that was only exhibitions. So
yes, and you said that with air quotes.
Yes, I did. You can see that on the camera. Exhibitions. And then they lost to Viva La France as well.
That is true. They did.
And boy, I got to tell you, Evan Fournier, he cashed in with the Knicks there for helping vanquish the U.S.
Well, a lot of players, the NBA.
Kyra Lewis, we got to talk about that. Kyra Lewis with a great opportunity now that Lonzo Ball has been signed and traded 4 years, $85 million to the Chicago Bulls.
Yes.
To play for Billy Donovan. But that gives Kyra Lewis Jr. with now him, the sole guy looks like at point guard right now, or the top guy is in his second season to take that next step and ascension up the NBA ladder.
We had a chance to visit with Kyra Lewis Jr. last week.
Yep.
Kind of gauged his first-year reactions to the league, his first year settling in. New Orleans kind of took their time with him. Van Gundy, Stan Van Gundy was the one-year coach.
Stan Van Gundy, his rookie year, yeah.
His rookie year there with the Pelicans, no longer there. They're going to usher in a new coach, a new system. So we'll see.
Willie
and hopefully
Green,
Kyra Lewis
from the Phoenix Suns
can settle in nicely and be that point guard of the future for the New Orleans Pelicans.
I mean, they've got Brandon Ingram. They've got Herbert Jones now. They've got some nice pieces. Zion, of course. So hopefully the Pelicans can start becoming a consistent playoff team. Certainly Eric Bledsoe moving on helps Kyra as well. But I think they really like what they saw out of him as his rookie year went on. He's a guy that really should be going into his senior year of college, but will already be going into year 2 of his NBA journey. And so we really look forward to that and what he can do with the Pelicans. And as you said, a lot of guys getting paid in the NBA. There were some sign and trades. Kyle Lowry is headed to Miami. So, which I thought was an interesting move as well. He had helped Toronto win a championship, but it's going to be interesting. And now I'm interested to see if Colin Sexton gets traded. Does that happen? Can he get away from the mistake by the lake, which is basically the nickname for Cleveland? Get out of there, maybe get to a better organization, get to the Celtics, get to somewhere where he can win some games and put up some numbers. But we'll see.
All right, 256-576-4977. Get in on the show this morning. You can get in on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We have got a lot of stuff that you can weigh in on. You can weigh in on the Olympics. You can weigh in on anything that we heard about the college football playoff expansion, maybe pausing everything going on there. Roster management is a mess because of COVID in college football. Dabo Swinney has weighed in on the roster management because that is something that we have been kind of wondering
Extra
about.
years, things of that nature.
Dabo Sweeney says it's frustrating. It's awesome that all these guys got an extra year. He goes, he thinks it's awesome. He goes, this year it's not an issue. It's a real problem for coaches moving forward from a roster management standpoint. We at Clemson don't really have an issue. We're fortunate this year. They only have 11 seniors. We're able to project and do what we need to do for the class of 2022. He said the problem for him is the class of 2023. He says for some schools, the class of 2022 is a real problem. They may have a lot of seniors, a lot of guys coming back. How do you go and recruit? You don't know how many scholarships you have. It's hard to ask a kid right now, in 2 years, are you going to want that COVID year? He says it's complicated. It's frustrating. He says they've put a proposal out there to the ACC coaches. We've even said maybe give us 5. Not that you get 5 more. If 5 guys on scholarship on your team come back, you'd be at least to have another leg room. He says it's a great thing for players, but it's very frustrating from a roster management standpoint.
Well, and it sets off dominoes, and so you have to be able to make room here. And then it's all about the transfer portal, adding to classes on the back end. I asked Sam Pittman that question at SEC Media Days, Arkansas head coach, and he said he would probably hold 2 to 3 scholarships per class back for transfer portal guys. That could be bounce backs that you recruited before, or just somebody that you find in the portal that might fill a need and be immediately eligible for your football team.
But how do you gauge guys wanting to take their COVID year? Because right now, I mean, Dabo's right. Right now you could have a guy that's a sophomore right now. He goes 2 more years, and, well, you know what? Maybe I will take my COVID year now. How do you plan? How do you plan for that as a college football coach?
It's hard. It's almost like a year-to-year kind of thing, but that's what they talk about with the scholarships anyway. You have to take a look at your football team and, okay, what do we have depth-wise at certain positions? Do we need this young man to stick around? It's like, obviously Nick Saban thought Chris Owens was needed. He talked him into coming back, and he's going to be the center and have another senior season because they would have obviously, I guess they didn't feel like Darian Dalcourt was ready yet. And so Chris Owens will be in the pivot for Alabama. And so you have to decide, like, how big a need is it?
Right.
And I think that's what it comes down to. And it's just, and sometimes it's simple math as well.
Should they expand the roster? Should they let them expand them for a couple years so that the COVID wave goes through?
I don't think that's a bad thing. They've done that in other sports, but we'll have to see. I mean, football by far has the most with 85.
Right.
And they're trying to keep parity, but it may just end up being more guys in the transfer portal, honestly, but we'll see. I mean, like Dabo said, they're fortunate at Clemson. They have a lot of guys that go 3 and out and turn pro and things of that nature, which helps with the numbers. But he's right. It does create some headaches.
All right, 256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And big news, Tom Brady turns 44 years old today.
Turns the hammer, as they say. 44.
I believe he only needs 4 more years to play in the league to tie George Blanda. George Blanda played until he retired at 48. He was the oldest NFL player out there, was George Blanda. Tom Brady's at 44. Let's go to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jason with us on the phone lines this morning. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good, Jason. How are you?
Oh, just fine. I don't see the problem with the, with the COVID year on the scholarship. I mean, as long as the player's working towards a degree, I wouldn't worry about the number and keep the scholarships like they are.
Yeah.
Allow 25 a year. I mean, as long as they're trying to get a degree, they're not just, laying around playing PlayStation or whatever. I think that's great. They can get an extra year for the education.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for the players, like Dabo said. It just creates another set of issues for coaches, and sometimes even more so as you go down the ladder in college football.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think that'd be great for them right there. let him play another year. I mean, the NCAA, they've turned their back on Will Wade, Bruce Pearl, and the coach at Kansas. I don't think why it hurt to let a football player hang around the extra year.
Yeah, that's the thing. That they'd have their COVID year. It's the fact that coaches just don't know when those players are going to take their COVID year. So if a player goes 4 years and the coach thinks he's going to leave in 4 years, but the coach and the player comes in all of a sudden and says, you know what, I want my 5th year or my 6th year. Maybe he already redshirted and he can play for 7 years. I don't know if you want to do that, but I mean, he takes that COVID year.
Could have for Alabama, but he decided to turn pro as a fullback. I mean, he would have. You're talking about a guy that maybe could have had 3 degrees by the time.
But I mean, throw him into the mix. I mean, he could take up a potential scholarship spot for someone that they weren't planning on staying for that long.
Right.
Yeah, most of the players, I believe that if they say they're going to get drafted in the NFL or they're going to get their degree and get a job, they'll leave willingly. They must start making money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, name, image, and likeness. You might be able to make some money if you hang around for the longest tenured college player.
That's what I said. I mean, name, image, and likeness may make some of these cats want to stay around.
You're right. I mean,
if they can make some cash.
He's only threw the ball 20 times, and he's supposed to be worth $1 million.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers. He's already counting on him being worth $1 million because he's gonna finish his coursework this summer and join the Ohio State University with the 4 freshman quarterbacks. But I did like the tweet of Blake Brockermeyer, the father of these 2 sons, James and Tommy Brockermeyer at the University of Alabama, who decided they didn't want to be losers at Texas. And he basically said,
"Get that in there."
Yeah, I have to. But even though Blake was a great player at Texas, and his father was, and their whole family, and his son's at Texas now. Hopefully, they will be winners this year under Steve Sarkisian. But again, Blake Brockermeyer said, that quarterback room is going to blow up by the end of this season because there's 4 freshmen. So it's going to be really interesting. Ewers, though, did not go through spring, so it's going to be tough for him to push for the starting quarterback job. He won't be able to gain traction probably till the spring.
Right.
But he thinks he can make Bryce Young type money as name, image, and likeness, and we'll see. I personally question it because now he can get some money and some deals, but you're talking about a quarterback until you take and Bryce hasn't done it, so it's very interesting these high-profile 5-star QBs that get this kind of money because they haven't played meaningful snaps. But I'll say this: you better produce when you get them because it can dry up.
That's what I was going to ask you. Now, are they signing this on a 4-month contract?
We don't know. That's the great question, Jason.
We don't know.
If Bryce Young goes out those 20 interceptions and 10 touchdowns next year, I bet you he's not getting 7 figures for the 22 season.
Yep. We don't know. That's good questions, and those are some good questions that kind of need to be answered. How long are these deals? We don't know that. We just know that DJU signed a deal with Bojangles. We don't know if it's for 6 months, 4 months,
did the same
a year.
Thing. He got on Twitter and was eating the chicken sandwich. It looked pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, you got the 2 guys, one from out. You got Bo Nix with Milo Sweet Tea, and you got
Malachi Moore, too.
Milo Sweet Tea. So we don't know how long the deals are.
He's getting free lunch all the time.
Yeah.
You might as well come here.
If Stanley can't beat Bo Nix out, are they going to take the tea away from Bo and give it to
he's going to get – if he throws an interception, he gets unsweet tea, not sweet tea. That's what's going to happen. They got to drink the unsweet tea.
Right.
All right, Jason.
Good morning.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for the call. Yeah, we don't know any of how those name, image, and likeness deals all along. They're not releasing them like pro deals. We don't know that. But anyway, 256-576-4977. Let's get our final break in when we come back. Tomorrow's headlines today.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We've got a lot of folks in last-minute dash mode this morning, scrambling to get in on time. If you're in that last-minute group, put a little extra room in there so you got somewhere to go just in case something does go wrong. The Somnodent from Dr. Sandman is an insurance-accepted solution for sleep apnea and snoring. Easy-to-use oral device, no mask, no hose. 350-CARE or RandallSandlin.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food, from delicious starters to 50-style diner food and meat-and-three meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. And you can enjoy $50 worth of delicious Bubby's Diner food for half price with this week's Zone Deal. On sale now online at 977ESPN.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online, advancedlifeclinic.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Drinking coffee straight from the pot. Power move. Wearing a bathrobe to work. Power move. Switching to super fast, extra reliable internet from WOW. Power move. Switch and save with WOW Internet for just $19.99 a month. It's switching season, so make a move with our best deal of the year. Get the speed you need, starting with Internet 100 for just $19.99 a month. Plus, ask how to get $200 on us. Sign up at wowway.com today.
Wow.
Limited to new customers with autopay and paperless billing. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, it is time for your tomorrow's headlines today on a Tuesday morning, and it has been a little bit. It's been 2 or 3 weeks since we've all been back in the studio together, and that includes Jordy, who's back with us for our Tuesday headlines.
Have you ordered a number 50 Mac jersey yet, Jordy? Because we know you're a Patriots fan.
It's on the way. It's on the way.
Well, first, I want to say happy birthday to Tom Brady. First of all,
there you go.
Salute the GOAT.
Ageless wonder.
You haven't disowned him, have you?
I haven't disowned him, but I'm still a Patriots guy through and through.
Right.
What you got for us?
All right, so the SEC, the other coaches, they have to look at it at some point and look at all these contract extensions Nick Saban keeps getting. They have to be like, when in the hell is this guy going to retire? I mean, this is ridiculous. So Nick Saban, in 2023 and 2024, he will reach $10 million of an annual salary earning, and he will be the first coach to do so. If I'd done everything that guy's done, I would have moved on to some beach somewhere sipping on pina coladas. But this is what he does, and he's going to keep doing it until he kicks the bucket.
Yeah, he's always been part of a team, as he said. You hear our promos here on 97.7 The Zone. He doesn't know what it'd be like not to be a part of either playing or coaching, and so his energy level's good. We said that early in the first hour, and it's a great deal for Alabama, great deal for the SEC, great for college football, despite the fact you're going to hear people from these other leagues like the Clown Patrol over at the Pac-12 and then the idiots in the Big Ten, and who are going to shut everything down and got piss-poor leadership, and they're going to moan and groan. But it's still great for college football because guess what? Scott put it on the table in the first hour. It's about the money. Everybody's making a lot of money because of Nick Saban. So quit crying and get to work.
What else?
Well, speaking of money, I'll tell you who's going to be making a lot of money soon. It's going to be Najee Harris. Now, guys, football is finally back Thursday night. I'm excited. I know it's
preseason NFL football. Don't get too excited.
Yeah, I mean, I if I have cable by then, I may watch, but we'll see.
Hey, look, it's that or water polo. I've been watching water polo.
Yeah.
I want some football. So, Najee Harris, let me tell you some of these quotes he had coming out yesterday from two Pro Bowlers, right? Cameron Hayward, he made him miss. And Cameron Hayward says, he made me miss and got 5 yards. I hate it now, but I like it during the season. Mika Fitzpatrick, another big-time playmaker in the secondary. He says his contact balance is absolutely ridiculous. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Najee can do.
He's going to get 3 carries in this preseason game and be done.
Well, what he might do, and it looks like this could be the swan song, but if he has a great rookie year, perhaps Ben thinks about continuing to play.
Maybe. We'll see.
I mean, because the Steelers obviously have not figured out the quarterback of the future. They've tried many disasters. So they need to, either that or they're going to have to, via trade or the draft next year, address it.
The offensive line's also kind of a concern as well.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Jordy.
All right, Jordy brought up water polo. Okay.
Here we go.
We talked Olympics earlier in the show. But have you guys paid attention to Peacock? The network Peacock?
No.
Okay. You need to. Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart. Peacock went out and got Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart. And I watched about 3 episodes of this yesterday. They are doing a Olympic highlight update show. Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart together. They talked about, Drew, I got 3 clips here to play. And here is the first one where they talk about horses should get medals as well as the riders.
Do the horses get medals when they win too, or they don't get medals?
That's a good question, Snoop. I've never seen a horse with a medal.
Do they?
No, it goes to the person on the horse, which should be changed.
He ain't did nothing but just went for the ride.
Yeah.
Just stayed on for the ride.
You didn't have your ankles taped. The horse did. I demand for a horse to get the respect that they deserve, have the same bragging rights as the jockey. You start to hang a medal on these horses' neck, so when they get around the other horses, they can and show the other horse.
First of all, the way you solve that is you give the horses 24-karat horseshoes. Okay, that's what you do.
And then the two went on to talk about how the horses get to Tokyo.
By the way, how do the horses get to Tokyo?
What airline was it? Emirates.
They fly
That's
the horses.
Expensive.
They fly the horses on Emirates?
And the athletes on Southwest?
You know, the problem is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Again, gold horseshoes.
So then Then they talk about the equestrian event, and they talked about the footwork of horses.
Horses. I like this. This is equestrian.
This is prancing.
They call this equestrian.
By the way, look at that horse.
Did you? Oh, the horse crip walking, cuz. You see that? On the set. That's gangsters of up. Hey! Oh, cuz. This horse is off the chain. I gotta get this motherfucker in a video.
Oh, you said.
Oh my God.
Snoop said I gotta put the horse in the video.
I need that.
Horse crip walking is officially in the Olympics.
Man, you see that?
He's crip walking.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, that is Snoop Dogg.
All I can tell you is Snoop used to have a show on MTV. Just cracked me up. He had the Jackass guys on his show one time.
Yes.
And they all jumped into a pool of piranhas. And I'll never forget Snoop turning and looking at the camera and be like, "These bleeps is crazy." These MFers is crazy.
Oh. But anyway, I did watch. Well, my wife and we watched 3 episodes of this show. It is Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart breaking down the Olympics, and it is pretty funny. I mean, it is.
Let's just give Snoop credit. He has created, through his years in the music industry and in entertainment, a new language. He just really has.
His cooking show with Martha Stewart, we're way off topic here, but his cooking show with Martha Stewart is phenomenal.
I mean,
it is phenomenal,
Snoop's
by the way.
commercials are unbelievable. He's just really, let's just put it this way. The dude is just an entertainer. He is very, very talented. I think he could have his own TV show.
He's calling boxing now as well.
And I'm talking about like a sitcom or something.
He's calling boxing now?
Yeah, he's been doing boxing. He actually did the last, I think it was the Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather fight. I believe he was on there as well. He's doing everything.
Logan Paul, by the way, wants a rematch with
Floyd Mayweather.
Dear God, no, please. Please
go
don't.
away.
Jordy also handles beat writing, though, for the New England Patriots. Any Patriots news out there?
Besides Mac Jones.
Bill Belichick had to backstep his words, though, the other day about a starting quarterback.
Yeah, he's been sticking with Cam Newton as his guy. I mean, Bill, even when the media kind of presses him about, Mac Jones and any quarterback competitions the same way last year, he's sticking steady with Cam Newton as his guy. I mean, but we'll see how it plays out in camp. I think Cam Newton will get it in there, and I think Cam Newton will start. I think Cam Newton will probably go up until week 10 or so, unless he starts slowing down or he gets hurt or something like that. But the competition's fierce. Mac Jones is in there, and he's playing well. But obviously, Cam's the veteran guy. He kind of has a step on him and everything. So we'll see how it turns out.
Cam better stay healthy. If he gets hurt, it's Wally Pipp. He's done.
And that's the big thing right there. Can Cam stay healthy?
And is he going to keep 50? Is Mac actually going to try to do this? And I was hoping he'd be 10.
Is he really wearing 50?
He's wearing 50. He's worn it since the first workout.
So Bill Belichick does this with a lot of players. He just gives them random numbers. So I mean, you can't blow your head up. You're anybody.
He's been 10 for as long as I can remember. This is going to be interesting.
I want you to walk in with a Patriots 50 jersey.
I'll do it.
Drew, I want Drew to come in. If Mac is going to wear 50, Drew will have a Patriots jersey.
That doesn't look right. I know they can wear single digit numbers now and all this. And by the way, to update really fast, Devontae Smith with the Eagles, he's already being affected by being around clowns. Because this organization is just a train wreck. He's out for a few weeks with a strained MCL. Because they're terrible.
Speaking of the
Eagles, dead last.
Carson Wentz.
Speaking of the Eagles, though, I do got to play this because roll right and throw it out of bounds said he needs to worry about his deep ball.
Hit the money ball, the money shot, the ooh-ah play, And I think that's very important in the offense, being able to stretch the defense and have deep threats like we have. And I think you have to be patient with it. You have to be patient with it. You got to take what they give you You got to take what they give you, and when your shots come, hit them.
Good luck to Jalen. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you to Irving McGuire. That was a great interview. Check that out on our social media platforms. Also, Ryan Callahan, great discussion for Tennessee recruiting. The Czar, 10 to noon. The Drive tonight, live from the Furniture Factory, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, 7:01 a.m.
See you guys. Talking Ball. We're out of here. 97.7 ESPN.com.
Thanks, Jordy.
Save now on Pro Essentials with Lowe's Pro Summer Savings. Save on select appliance special values. Plus, save an additional $50 when you buy 2 or more appliances, each priced $396 or more. You'll also find savings on tools and more throughout the store. At Lowe's, the new home for pros. Must ask cashier to apply discount in store. Online must use promo code. Can't be combined with any other discounts. See Lowe's.com for exclusions and terms. Valid 7/15 through 8/4. U.S. only.
Coach Nick Saban.
Helping children is very important to Miss Terry and me. As parents, it saddens us to know that there are more than 5,000 children in foster care in Alabama. These children need loving, nurturing families to care for them. We ask you to join the team and become champions for children by opening your heart, opening your home, and becoming a foster or adoptive parent.
For more information, call 1-866-4AL-KIDS. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, Simone Biles earned her 7th career Olympic medal, tying Shannon Miller for the most by an American gymnast. Biles won the bronze on the balance beam today in her return after taking herself out of several competitions to deal with her mental health. 19-year-old Athing Mu won the 800-meter gold in her first Olympics. First time an American woman has won the 800 since the 1968 Mexico City Games. U.S. women's national team goaltender Alyssa Nair will miss the bronze medal match with an injured right knee sustained in the loss to Canada. An MRI showed a hyperextension but no ligament damage. Baseball, in the latest virus setback for the Yankees, ace Garrett Cole tested positive for COVID-19, won't make his scheduled start tonight against the Orioles. Nestor Cortez starts in his place. Earlier this month, 6 Yankees players tested positive for the coronavirus, including slugger Aaron Judge.
From the ESPN studios at Pier 17 in the Seaport District of New York City, this is Greeny with Mike Greenberg on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and on ESPN Plus.
Back and better than ever, Greeny, presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Goodyear Hotline today. Happy birthday, Brady. We've got a green list in his honor. If you think the NBA is in trouble, we can prove it's not. Plus Wentz, Washington, and a game 4 years in the making. Our cup runneth over. Let's go.
Here we go! Only one place to start.
Chris Paul staying put in Phoenix. Lonzo Ball going to Chicago to sign and trade.
Yeah, so Chicago Bulls obviously with a major splash with Lonzo Ball, and they are not done.
Knicks keeping Derrick Rose and Nerlens Noel and adding Evan Fournier.
Oh, $1.5 billion spent on the first day, and it isn't even free agency. On the first day of legal tampering. How ludicrous is that? The one thing that makes me laugh is they always say, well, the conversations can begin at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, August 2nd, and by 6:02, they've spent $1.5 billion in contracts. Either these are the most impulsive spenders in the history of civilization, or I think there's a little tampering going on before it's legal. One way or another, you've seen all the deals and heard about them. Let's make this Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. We get something called a hot list, all of us here at ESPN. I just want to read you through the deals. Atlanta and Trae Young, 5-year rookie max, worth up to $207 million. The Thunder and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander come to a deal that could be worth up to $207 million. Kyle Lowry, 3 years in a sign and trade to the Heat, $90 million. Chris Paul staying in Phoenix, $120 million. Mike Conley staying in Utah, $72 million. Cavaliers signed center Jarrett Allen to a $100 million deal. Lonzo Ball, 4 years, $85 million in Chicago. Jimmy Butler is progressing toward a max extension worth up to $184 million. The Knicks re-signed Derrick Rose and Evan Fournier. They signed, what was the money on Fournier? Is that $43 million was Rose, and they signed Evan Fournier as well. I guess the question that jumps to my mind is, for all of this money, do you think we can play all the games? Like, is that an agreement we can make? I'm not asking you to smile much, because Lord knows the NBA players don't seem inclined to doing that. But can you at least show up and play when I go to the game? If I put the TV on, if you're getting paid $207 million to play this game, the money that exists, so that's what I meant when I said everyone who thinks the NBA is in trouble, you think they're in trouble? They just spent $1 billion in 10 minutes. And free agency hasn't even officially begun. So the NBA is not in any level of trouble. The real question is, what are the impactful moves? What will they be? What will they mean? Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. For the answer to that, let me first off bring in my VP of basketball conversation, and that is the one, the only Nuno, the proud producer of this program. Nuno, of all the things you saw yesterday, which one was the most important to you?
I actually think the Kyle Lowry one is because the Knicks did. I don't know what the Knicks did. I don't want to get into it. I'm in a good mood, Greeny. I look good today. I know the radio people can't see it, but like I don't. You do look good. I don't want to talk about the Knicks today. At least right now.
Well, why are the Knicks putting you in a bad mood?
Because I don't know what to expect from them at this point in time, right? Like they overachieved last year. They re-signed a lot of their guys, and I don't know, did they overpay for Derrick Rose? And then they signed Evan Fournier, who wanted to go back to the Celtics, but they didn't want him. So I don't know how to feel right now.
Here's how you should feel. You should feel like maybe this team has finally learned from its past mistakes, which is to hang on to all of this cap space because you're convinced that LeBron or someone like LeBron is just around the corner and dying to sign with you because it says Knicks on your jersey and you play at the Garden, has not worked for 20 years, and it will continue to not work. So if you're building something nice and good and it's working, and you add another piece that you like and you continue building a program, and then maybe eventually you get yourself to a place where you are one player away and that one player will be inclined to come play for you. Maybe it makes all the sense in the world.
No, I think I've gotten to the point with this group that's leading the Knicks to kind of trust them, right? I've given them a little piece of my heart.
So hold on a second here, because you do look very handsome today, by the way, Nuno, and it's confusing me. Or not confusing, but it's distracting. It's distracting me.
It's confusing you?
I'm not confused. I'm distracted. But here's my point, Nuno, that you just started by saying the Knicks are putting you in a bad mood, and now you told me that you learned to trust the people running. Those two things seem contradictory to me.
Because I'm listening to you, and you've made such an eloquent point, and it's kind of swayed me a little.
Oh, I like that.
So you're doing a great job. You've changed my mind slightly, and I want to trust them. Right? Like, I want to give them my heart. It's been broken so many times that I want to give it to someone. And it's tough. It's a little hard for me.
Long live sports.
Is that why you dressed up today?
Yes, exactly. I'm hoping that someone sees me in this pandemic world and is like, you know what? I want his heart.
Nuno, I don't know what is. You do look nice. That's a nice shirt. What is that? I can't tell. Is that it looks like a navy blue shirt, or is that a jacket?
Navy blue shirt, yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
Nuno's and very svelte these days.
Styling today. Yeah, he's lost a bunch of weight. Nuno's feeling good about himself. The question, however, is will he be feeling good about his team? We shall find out. Did the Miami Heat put themselves in the championship conversation yesterday? That's the question. Who's got the answer? Hembo, what's the right answer to that?
I don't think the Heat are a team.
It's not complicated. Is it yes or no? Are they in the championship?